Minecraft?
Not in the mood.
Mario Party?
You know we'll only play that with Aiden.
Nintendo Switch Sports.
Never utter that name to me ever again.
Mario Kart World!
Do you have a Switch too?
No.
Good, because if you did, I would backhand you.
Well, I'm all out of ideas.
Help me up. Okay. We're thinking too mainstream. We gotta think of something more...
Indie?
Yeah, indie. Okay. That's good.
I know. What about Deltarune? I know chapters 3 and 4 came out this year.
Well, I haven't played the first 2 chapters of Deltarune, and heck, I don't even think I've played Undertale before.
Well, I think the first 2 chapters are free, and you just gotta buy Undertale.
Okay. You wouldn't happen to have money on you right now, would you? Well, out of all the indie games to come out of the last 15 years, few have had as big of an impact on gaming as Undertale. I mean, one character alone from the game has more memes created about him than entire decades-long running IPs have. It's consistently regarded as one of the best indie games of all time. Heck, some regard it as one of the best video games of all time. Like, the only indie games that come close to its success and influence are Cuphead, Bendy, FNAF, Braid, and is this really an indie game anymore? So yeah, Undertale is a very influential game. And I have never played it. I've played Barbie and her sister's Puppy Rescue before I've played Undertale. Do I even deserve basic human rights?
What's up, Barbie?
The plastic personification of the problems of promoting unrealistic body proportions and beauty standards to children.
It's a toy doll. So with this incredibly popular and successful game, there's no question in anyone's mind that it would get some continuation of some kind. And that's how we got Deltarune. Deltarune is an episodic role-playing game made by Toby Fox that works as a follow-up to his game Undertale. While this game does have the same art style and some similar characters, it is not a direct sequel to Undertale, rather it's in a parallel story to Undertale. The idea for Deltarune came to Toby in a fever dream in 2011, where he saw the ending to a game and was determined to create it. He was also inspired by playing card designs from artist Canotines on Tumblr. Toby Fox is many things. An interesting human being is definitely one of them. He began development on the game in 2011, but paused on it early. The game proved to be harder to make than Undertale because of its more complex graphics and overall combat system and the state of Toby's own mental health. Temmie Chang became the lead artist after working on Undertale, contributing to character designs and animations. The combat system of the game went for a more Final Fantasy style of combat rather than Undertale's mother-inspired system. Chapter 1 was released on October 31st, 2018, and Chapter 2 was released on September 17th, 2021. Oh my god.
Oh wait, this doesn't have multiplayer, does it?
No, but it's fine. I can play the first chapter, you can play the second chapter.
What about me?
I do not trust you with the controller after the Smash incident.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
You lost 3 games in a row and broke my Spider-Man mug.
It could have been worse.
You broke my Spider-Man mug.
Okay, fine. Whatever, stupid dad.
The game starts off asking us if we've played Undertale before. I think we'll be fine.
It's not gonna be fine, is it?
Pipe down, crewmate. The game really starts off with this really ominous opening little monologue from an unknown being before we create a vessel. We create our own little meat fighter before giving it attributes like, what's his favorite taste? What's his favorite color? What's his favorite blood type? You know, normal questions to ask on a first date.
I think I know why you don't have a girlfriend yet.
Listen here, pal!
I said yes.
We give it a name and give ourselves, the player, a name, and we have finished our vessel. Only for it to be discarded because no one can choose what they are in this world. Toby Fox, you are a man with a sick sense of humor and I respect it. Our main protagonist, Chris, is then woken up by their mother, Toriel, who tells them that they're going to be late for school. So they get up and their mother drives them to school while we see other Undertale characters in the city. I assume they are Undertale characters because I can see Undyne right here. They make it to class where their teacher, Alphys, tells them that the class is starting a new group project and to find someone to partner with. Yeah, I play video games to escape my realities, not be reminded of them. This game gets a 3 out of 10. Ian Grant Nelson, professional video game complainer. Right then, a monster classmate named Susie walks in and Alphys groups Susie with Chris. Alphys then sends the two to go grab some chalk and Susie terrorizes Chris outside. You know, you talk a lot of smack for an emo purple Yoshi.
Why are you talking to this video game character like she can hear you?
Shut up, Rogan. I need to reciprocate the hate being thrown at me by Barney's goth niece.
Okay. I mean, it's not like I talk to people in video games, you know, it's not... Dating simulators.
What was that?
Nothing. You just Monica.
Rogan, you need help. The two end up going to the supply closet, but they end up falling into the dark world.
Welcome to the
Fortnite.
We wake up and discover this glowing light, which these little lights work as checkpoints. We then walk around this incredibly inviting place with these very nice locals wanting to throw white candies at our heart.
Like we did to Rogan that one time.
Exactly, Crewmate!
You were egging my duck hunting station.
Rogan, you were using Nerf guns. That's not hunting. We go through these little cloud bush things before finding Susie. She walks behind us before calling us too slow and runs in front of us. I know she develops into a nicer person, but that is a slow process.
Is she this mean in chapter 2?
Hope and pray not, Rogan. Hope and pray not. We then run into a shadowed figure who starts dropping spades on us that we have to dodge. This game was rigged against me from the start because this game has a lot of puzzles involving playing card symbols, and I have no idea what some of these mean.
What does this card mean?
Foil Clover! After we escape, we arrive at the castle of a prince who tells us how we are destined to become heroes. The three of us are destined to close these light pillar things called dark fountains. A new dark fountain created a dark world east of this prince's dark world, which is being protected by an evil king. You got that down, Rogan?
And done.
Susie is disinterested in saving the world, but just then a little monster appears named Lancer, who's the son of said king from before. We then engage in our first combat section of the game. Basically, the combat is a turn-based style like something like Pokemon or Final Fantasy VII. We have an attack option, an act option, where you can communicate with your teammates or the enemy, or it will be a magic thing for the other team members to use to have certain abilities. Do the act thing enough for certain enemies, their names will turn yellow, in which you can spare them. We have items we can use in battle, usually to heal ourselves, and a defense option that increases your defense bar when you get to the enemy's turn. The enemy will launch something at your heart, so you have to dodge said attacks. The more filled your defense bar is, the more shield you will have against the attacks that will defend you. And that's the combat system, and I like this system more than a lot of turn-based RPGs I've played where it just feels like you use an attack, your enemy uses an attack, rinse and repeat until one of you has won.
Are you saying you don't like Pokemon?
Rogan, when's the actual last time you played a Pokemon game?
That is besides the point.
No, it's not
Pokemon
besides
has
the
been
point. Because we got a live case or something for a game series. You don't even play much. Oh,
Stop fighting! Can we focus on the game and not bicker between ourselves?
fine, whatever. So after we defeat Lancer, the prince returns and reveals their identity, Prince Ralsei. Susie runs off to find her way home while we recruit Ralsei to our party. We go through a training section that goes over everything I just went over earlier, so skipping this. So we walk outside the castle gates and begin our journey. We walk through this field of red leaf trees coming across several enemies in our path. We can find some of these trees with dark candies which can heal you. We come across this chef whose cake has been ruined by Susie, so we continue our journey seeing blobs of monsters that Susie has killed. We come across a puzzle that we can't do without Susie, so we convince Susie to join our party, who is currently screaming at the door to open. You're not the brightest bulb in the box, are you?
Again, you're talking to the video game characters as if they can
Rogan,
hear.
I don't have bad level design or bad story to talk about, so I'm trying to make the commentary somewhat interesting. Alright? Alright. So we make it through the door, come across a shop where you can buy or sell items, and come across Lancer again. Get used to this little guy. He tries to scare us, but Susie intimidates him, which inspires him to become more intimidating. We then fight some jigsaw rees. How does one even come up with making names like this? Before we come across this gate where we have to push crates on buttons to open. We then come across a playing card themed section, which this entire first chapter is playing card themed, where we face off against pawnmans or pawn men, and we have to navigate across these parts of the floor that glow. If we touch the glow, we get sent back to the beginning of the room. I think this is a neat part of the game. I like the checkered floor with white little statues in the background aesthetic. It gives me vibes to Alice in Wonderland, which that aesthetic is one of the few things I actually like about that story.
You don't like Alice in
I'm
Wonderland?
not getting into this debate right now. We're not even halfway through chapter 1. Lancer appears again to terrorize us before realizing that we don't have a team name. So we put names into a bucket where we can pull out a name like Lancer, or a word Lancer can't say apparently. What are the chances our team name is a slur? We make it to the end of this area to find Lancer with a C round. No one is scared of it until it gets a crown and becomes a K round. We can't attack him because he'll heal himself, so we have to use our act option and bow to him, which slowly but surely makes the crown fall off. After his crown falls off, I like this little guy, he's silly. So after that, Susie decides that she's been a really bad hero. So now she's gonna become one of the bad guys. Chris, just do the world a favor and...
We're not killing Susie.
You're not. I am.
You literally can't.
Watch me.
After Team Rocket buzzes off, we walk through the forest, encountering rabbits and other stuff that belongs in the early days of Pokemon. We traverse through the forest, dodging spinning wires, solving puzzles involving playing card symbols, all the while listening to these two digital migrants constantly talk smack. Hey, wasn't there a mechanic in Undertale where you could either spare or kill certain characters? Can we have that back, please? I have... certain characters on my hit list. After facing off against the fusion of King Ghidorah and definitely a Pokemon, we come across some sort of bake sale where we can buy some food from everyone except from these two. I would rather starve. We walk through more of the forest before finding totally not Lancer, where he makes us create a machine that will fight against us. Wait a minute, does that say... So after we build that, we go through more of the forest before coming across this maze section where you go down the path that Susie and Lancer aren't going before we find our creation.
Are you still staring at me like that? Oh my god, get a sense of humor.
How did this duck hatred start?
Long story.
The machine ends up getting blown up by these two because apparently we suck at making evil machines. Okay, in all fairness, y'all asked two morally good people to make an evil machine. I don't know what y'all expected. We then get to fight against them.
Oh, I'm gonna enjoy every second of this.
He scares me.
We end up defeating them and Susie gives in and rejoins our group. Lancer's sad about their team splitting up, so he ends up joining our group.
Yeah, not being able to kill the party members that I don't like. What happened to player's choice? This game gets a 2 out of 10.
Ian Grant Nelson, professional video game complainer. We come across a tree with a dark candy and Lancer helps Susie get the dark candy. Lancer says that he's never had a dark candy before, so Susie ends up giving it to him. Is this a sweet, wholesome moment? Am I starting to like Susie?
We're losing him! We're losing him! Ben, don't go! Don't go to the line!
Get off me, Rogan.
Lancer realizes that his friends are going to have to fight his father, so he runs off. We give chase, but when we get to the castle, we're captured and imprisoned. Chris wakes up in a cell with Ralsei, with Susie being in a cell not that far from us. Susie ends up solving another card symbol puzzle and gets out. She looks around and finds Lancer. Lancer reveals that he ordered the three of us to be locked up and refuses to move, so we engage in combat. Lancer starts to fight back less and less, and Susie can't bring herself to kill him. They end up making a plan where Susie and the others will talk it out with Lancer's father, the king.
See? All conflict can be resolved without violence.
Yeah.
Susie gets the other two out and our trio makes their way to the king. We get a nice moment between Susie and Ralsei in the elevator before we come across an empty room. A being called Rules Card, definitely not how you pronounce that, appears to give us an incredibly difficult puzzle and we just have to push a box on a button. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call peak comedy. We make it more throughout the castle before eventually finding Card again, who summons a K round. Bowing doesn't do much, so Susie's genius plan is to throw Ralsei at the crown, which ends up working only after we've given this poor little guy a couple of concussions.
I've actually tried this on Crewmate a couple times to get stuff off the roof.
Ben, that's child abuse.
Now the CPS doesn't know about it.
So we arrive to Lancer, who is about to talk to his father. The king is furious to know that we're alive and threatens to kill his son if we don't surrender. We're about to die when Lancer quite literally backstabs his father and runs off. Our trio then face off against the king. This isn't really about defeating the king, it's about enduring him. You're meant to go through a number of turns to get to a certain point where he gives up and surrenders, before he doesn't and catches us by surprise. We then get one of two ways of defeating him. Either Ralsei puts him to sleep, or the king's minions, led by Lancer, end up overthrowing him. Literally. So once we defeat him, Ralsei reveals himself to be a goat-like monster like Toriel and Asriel. Fun fact, Ralsei is just an anagram for Asriel. This blew my mind when I first figured it out. So Chris and Susie enter the Dark Fountain and return home. Susie tells Chris that they should go back tomorrow, and Chris walks home. They return home to their mother and go to bed. Then, in the middle of the night, Chris rips out their soul, which represents the player's control, locks it away in a cage, and pulls out a knife, their eye shining red. Huh.
There's a light inside your soul that's still shining in the cold, with the truth, the promise in our heart.
And there ends Chapter 1. So to give my quick thoughts on Chapter 1, yeah, I thought it was great. The story is really engaging, the characters are well developed and entertaining, it's really funny, the combat system is more fun than most RPGs I've played, the art style is really cool and creative, and it has some really good emotional and wholesome moments. Overall, a really good time. Time for Chapter 2!
Can I play now?
Be my guest. Chapter 2 opens with the next morning where we get up to go to school. We go through our class before Chris and Susie end up going back to the closet. We have a little run-in with Noelle and Birdley, who will be important later, before heading back to the Dark World. We reunite with Rousey, who tells Chris to go back to the Light World to gather a bunch of junk and bring it back to the Dark World. So we go back, gather all the junk and place it on top of our head, of course, return to the Dark World, and a bunch of shops appear. We reunite with Lancer.
I miss this guy, it's been too long.
It's been 15 minutes. Rousey shows us that he made rooms for the other two, and he has the king locked up. Chris's room is blue and has the Triforce in it, and Susie's room is pink and has horns on everything. Rousey has known us for like a day max, and already knows our personalities to a T with these bedrooms.
Hey, why don't we get massive renovations in your house like that?
Would you like me to pull out my wallet again? So we start to head back, Lancer and Card become part of our inventory. Sure. We return home and head over to the library to work on our project. We then open this door to reveal a new Dark Fountain leading us back to the Dark World. Just want to say, love these transitions from Light World to Dark World. I just like cool character transformation scenes. It brings out the Power Rangers child inside of me.
You ate a child?
We enter this sort of computer-inspired area with all these wires hanging everywhere. We see these pink little creatures sitting around scared before running into Noelle. She gets captured all of a sudden by someone named Queen. She mind controls two of these pink creatures before we get our first combat section of this chapter. Mind controlling these pink creatures by sticking wire plugs into their faces. We defeat them before Rousey arrives to help out. And just like that, we start our new adventure. We start walking before coming across... We arrive to Cyberworld, and already I think this landscape is a lot more interesting than the previous one. The first one's not bad, I liked it, but this one is just so much more colorful and dynamic. It just pops out more. Like, you go up these little teacup platforms, and it just looks so cool and creative. This truly was worth all $0 I paid for this game. So we find Noelle before Queen sends her away and summons an arcade cabinet. It's too tall for Chris to play, but with the power of using Rousey as a stool, we're able to play.
Is this really necessary, Dad?
Well, me and Crewmate have to get up here somehow, Rogan. We then play Punch-Out in an RPG. Have I mentioned yet how awesome this game is? We defeat Queen and chase after her. These are literally just Porygons. That is the most in-depth Pokemon reference you're ever gonna see me make. We do these little puzzles where we basically just walk on these computer keys to type out the password. We then face off against these... Radioheads? But I'm a creep. No, not that. We literally defeat them by dancing. After we defeat them, we walk more outside of the city, fighting more enemies before we come across these roller coaster things. Queen finds us and tries to get Noelle to kill us before swapping her out for Birdley. Unlike Noelle, he willingly joined Queen's side. He starts talking like an egotistical nerd. Fun, I have a new character to yell my hatred at. You know, maybe I just have this internal anger that I just need to get out of my system.
Therapy's not doing it for you?
Well, my personal issues are only a portion of what we talk about. So we face off against Birdley by bumping into his car before he falls to his death. We end up flying off a ramp to our demise before landing in some trash. The team splits up into the city, walking through busy streets and alleyways before we find Noelle. Noelle hides from Queen before Queen hides from Birdley. Hey, I would hide too if I had a book nerd on my team. Okay, you don't talk much, and I appreciate that, I really do. Our two adversaries buzz off as Noelle joins our party. We explain to Noelle the battle system in what I can only imagine is the equivalent of explaining to someone how to play Smash. No, you have to press the shield button, Rogan.
Where's that?
ZR!
Where's ZR?
On the top of your controller!
Oh! There it is.
Never change, Rogan. Never change. I like how in some of these battles, the obstacles in the hard part of the fight get more creative. Like this one where we have to dodge cars on the road. I also love all the little ads placed around the city. It's like Ralph Breaks the Internet, but good and creative and good. We come across Queen, who is absolutely hammered, and she starts to talk with us. I think it's so impressive how they made the conversations between Chris and other characters so interesting and funny without Chris saying a single word. I know this is probably not that special, but I think it really helps the writing of this game. Queen wants to play more Punch-Out with us, but then Birdly drops a golden statue on the cabinet.
I'm gonna kill this bird!
I love tolerating you. Oh my god, this game is so funny, dude. Queen runs away from Birdly as Chris and Noelle continue walking throughout the city. We face off against a mouse before coming across a whole cheese maze. We run into Birdly where he thinks we're forcing Noelle on our side. Deltarune is propaganda that all nerds have no social awareness.
He's right!
We beat Birdly, and I think my favorite bit in this game is everyone just hiding from one another. It's antagonists who, while they are a threat, can also be cartoony and goofy and balance those two things out very well that I just love so much. Yes, that is one of the reasons why Doofenshmirtz is my favorite antagonist ever. Chris, Noelle, and Queen all get into the car as we run over all these other cars. This game is rated E for everyone. RPG fans, Punch-Out fans, drunk drivers, it's really the game for everyone. Chris gets out of the car and we find Spamton G. Spamton. We fight him while he tries to sell us stuff. He's an unsubtle salesman even in combat. At some level, you gotta respect him. We defeat him before moving on with our journey. We get back into the car with Queen before it blows up a couple seconds later. Queen leaves us and we continue on foot. We get this nice little moment of Noelle talking about being in this new world and reminiscing on our childhood. It's really good stuff. We reunite with Susie and Rousey at a carnival where Susie has learned to heal people. Slightly. It's a step in the right direction. The four of us all come together as a team and continue our journey. After some button puzzles and putting mice into a bucket, we get to Queen's mansion. Queen makes Noelle come over to her before capturing everyone besides Rousey. We summon Lancer, who frees Chris and Susie. Lancer starts dying, so it's a rush to find Rousey with Birdly joining us.
I don't get to kill the bird?
Not today, Rogan. Not today. We solve some floor puzzles without Birdly's infinite big brain wisdom to nerdy Falco's dismay. We then get Birdly's backstory of how he believes Noelle's really the smart one, but everyone puts their expectations of him so high that he feels like he needs Noelle. Susie manages to convince Birdly to become more humble, or as he puts it, more ignorant. Love how Chris is just standing in the corner doing and saying nothing. They're just like me. We end up finding Rousey, who's become Queen's butler. We end up finding out that a Dark cannot exist in another Dark World as Lancer turns to stone. But we can bring him back at Castletown's Grand Fountain.
Oh, thank God.
Right then, Birdly comes and tells us if Noelle doesn't do Queen's bidding, she'll turn Noelle's face into a robot. Okay, how long have you known this kid? Birdly comes up with a plan to save Noelle and take on Queen. We walk through fire-breathing paintings and find a lock without a key. So guess where we get our key from? Spamton! So after we get the key, we enter the basement. We find a disc that we have to give to Spamton before going back and putting the disc back where we found it.
Boy, I sure do love backtracking.
So we return to the place only for Spamton to come in and prove to me why this game is rated T, because this would give hundreds of little kids nightmares. He's about to steal Chris's soul before Rousey and Susie come in and save us. We then get into some cars and have a boss fight against Spamton. We have to cut his strings while dealing with what? And huh? And oh my god! We eventually cut all the strings and he thinks he's about to turn into a real boy before... Oh. So after Spamton disappears, we continue to look for Noelle throughout the mansion. We find mice who chain our heart with a mouse cursor. We try to find a key under 100 dish covers before finding one with a dog under it who crashes through everything. Birdly and Susie split off from Chris and Rousey, and we end up finding the golden statue in the toilet.
Yeah, doesn't the Queen know that that statue would never fit into that toilet? SMH, villains nowadays are so badly written and stupid. This game gets a 1 out of 10.
Ian Grant Nelson, professional video game complainer. Okay, so we come across an acid lake before going on a goose, which brings us through said lake before we get stopped by a giant blue hand, which forces us to go through a puzzle of pressing red and blue houses that leads us to putting mice in some of those houses, which lets us pull a lever to put the hand down and let us continue.
And that's why she was in the pantry.
I'm calling the cops.
We then come across Rules again. Wait, I thought you were in our inventory. Whatever, he's a pirate now. We play this little game with the houses, we defeat him, and he starts to turn to stone. And we just leave him there to die. We got to Susie saving Noelle and them having this nice heart-to-heart talk. Burley then shows up and talks to Noelle, thinking that Noelle had a crush on him. Imagine getting friend-zoned by someone you didn't even like romantically. This game is nuts and I love it. Rogan?
I want to do it.
Rogan!
I want to take out the bar.
Rogan, he's not real.
He's real to me.
Susie quite literally falls into the other two as we walk into the finale. We tell Queen that Burley has Noelle before she shows up. Oh god! My control plugs are now suitable for teenagers. That's called grooming. We proceed to fight Queen whilst trying to free Burley, but our boy manages to free himself and join us.
Come on, Rogan, admit it was cool.
Fine, it was kinda cool.
Yay! Queen runs away and goes on a little monologue before Susie shoots her out of her chair and we save Noelle yet again. It is taking every fiber of my being not to make a Mario parallel joke. Queen then reappears in a mech. My Power Ranger senses, they're tingling. She sends us falling to our death before Burley comes in and brings everyone else with him, including Rules, my goat! We then all combine with Burley's golden statue to form some form of Megazord.
Can't even see the front of it.
This is a beautiful moment, you can't ruin it.
We then play Megazord Punch-Out. Best game ever. This fight is so cool. It specifically speaks to all my biases and I love it. After we deplete her health bar, Queen sends one of her arms at us and splits the mech into two. She then comes back for Noelle holding our main trio in her robot hand. She tries to force Noelle to kill them, but Noelle stands up for herself, stating she doesn't want to live in a world ruled by Queen. Queen then respects this before losing battery. Susie and Noelle then talk about possibly staying in the Dark World before Rousey shuts that idea down quick. He says, when the light is subsumed by shadow, when the fountains fill the sky, all will fall into chaos. The Titans will take form from the fountains and envelop the land in devastation. The surviving Darkners, crushed by the darkness, will slowly, one by one, turn into statues, leaving the Lightners to fend for themselves, lost internally in an endless night. Is that your idea of paradise?
You got all that down?
I don't know how, I just ended up drawing Crewmate.
Then all four Lightners return to the Light World. Chris and Susie head back to Chris's house, fall asleep on the couch, and the chapter ends with Chris waking up again and stabbing into the ground, causing black smoke to come up as a smile appears on the TV screen.
Well, I guess we should get used to that.
And there ends Deltarune chapters 1 and 2. What an experience. All in all, I think these two chapters make for a more than solid game. Starting off, the gameplay is amazing. Again, I'm not someone who's usually big on turn-based RPGs, but this game's combat system always keeps you on your toes and never gets old. It's so well made. The difficulty always feels natural. It never feels like the game is getting easier or harder all of a sudden. The different gameplay styles and puzzles are awesome. The punch-out sections make my soul ascend. The art style is great. I love all the character designs and what they alone tell you about each character. The background aesthetics are pretty good in Chapter 1 with the Dark World's forest and stuff, but Chapter 2's city aesthetic is fantastic. Every location feels unique but on theme. The story is really good, it's really funny, it controls very well. I think all the characters are great. Our main trio are fantastic characters, with Susie easily getting the best development.
Aw, look who's grown from his hatred.
Yeah, shut up.
Noelle and Burley were great characters in Chapter 2. I think it's crazy how much development these characters have gotten in only like 2 chapters, when I think Toby said he wants to make like 7 chapters for this game. Side characters like Card and Lancer were so fun to see on screen. I don't think the King and Queen were amazing antagonists or anything, but they're still good. Phantom is the best thing to ever happen. The dialogue is really good and once again, really funny. It's well paced, it's got some really solid emotional moments. The music is excellent, and both chapters end on really good cliffhangers. It's not completely flawless though. The pacing can drag a little bit, especially in a part or two in Chapter 2. Not every joke lands, and nope, that's about it. Overall, these chapters are an amazing start to the game, and I cannot wait to see where Deltarune goes from here. For now, I'll give Deltarune a 9.5 out of 10. Want to look for an obscure game that I own?
Sure.
Oh wow, you really do own a Barbie game.
And I'm not proud of admitting it.
Why do you own so many Just Dance games?
You think I voluntarily own this many Just Dance games?
No.
What's this?
This is just some stupid drawing I made when I first met Crewmate. It was a huge mistake, trust me.
I think it looks fine.
Why does it have eyes on it? Crewmate probably just drew something on there. Oh, the perfect thing to counteract Deltarune. Garbage!